Hello everyone, TJOmega here with another week of Transformer news, all the news that is worth talking about, recapping an entire week of the fandom's information. And we are starting with, of course, we're starting with this. Why wouldn't we start with this? Hasbro sent out an email telling people who backed Victory Saber to update your addresses because we're getting ready to ship. And the date that we have for the deadline for shipping is the end of the day on Monday, November 28th, 2022, which means shipping will hopefully begin on the 29th, which is going to be a Tuesday. So so it's not going to be like a weekend thing where you have to wait all weekend. That's what the point is. So like hopefully the last week of November is when Star Sabers will be shipping out. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it looks like first week of December we're actually going to be able to talk about this, and I know everyone is going to ask me to review this thing. Trust me, I'm going to review this. It is a brand new Star Saber toy. Of course I'm going to review it. It's just a matter of like how much am I going to have to do for the review, because Star Saber and Victory Leo do a lot. But it is super cool that we actually have a time frame, finally, that when we are actually going to be getting this. We are getting a bit of a preview and a bit of a jump on exactly what this guy is going to be once we get him in hand, because someone's already got him in hand. And a lot of photographs came. So yeah, we can see they look absolutely great. It looks like they came out fantastic. It looks like a lot of the joints on at least Star Saber, it looks like none of the major joints are going to be done in palm plastic, which means the yellowing thing we've been seeing shouldn't be an issue on him. Hopefully, you know, this is a big collector's item. QC issues are not going to be welcome, which, by the way, there was someone who got one that did have in Asia that did have some QC issues, like some major ones, like major cracking and like holes that had not been properly molded or drilled out. It's it gives me pause for concern, but hopefully it is just an early batch mistake. Hopefully the crack is more of a mishandling than it was a defect in the toy. There's so much money going into this toy, and so many people who paid tons of money for this. I cannot see them not going all out to make sure this is the best it can be. So like I'm going to pay attention to it, but genuinely, I'm not actually that worried about it. I think it'll be fine once we get it. Yeah, and just looking at all these photos, it's like, man, it looks so good, what we are actually getting for this guy. There's some interesting shots here, if we can get through a lot of stuff we've already seen before. Looking very clean on the back, by the way. You can see there's a ton of 5mm ports, too, so he's completely compatible with all the modern transformation elements. If you want to give him weaponizers and come up with your own Victory Saber, you can do that too, which is cool. Yep, showing off ranges of articulation. He's got an ab crunch, apparently. That's going to be fun. I do like the hidden 5mm peg in the hand, so all of his weapons and accessories can be secure. That's a good touch. The part that I liked was the Brainmaster, if we can get to that. There he is fully kitted out. He looks amazing. There's the shield and the sword. You can see, like, Victory Leo definitely adds a backpack, but it's not as bad as it could have been. It doesn't look like it's gonna like hinder him or like make him fall backward or anything. Hello, Flame Toys. But look at that. Look at that. He is commander size, but with lots more parts and a lot more going on. So that's where your cost is coming from. And man, the Brainmaster is so freaking tiny. He is a tiny little boy. So the Brain of Courage, in order to actually function, the entire core of the torso rotates so that Saber himself can have neck articulation, and thus Star Saber can have neck articulation. That's a lot. That's a lot working in, so I'm glad they included that. Yeah, it's just a ton of work went into this thing. You can see he looks absolutely amazing. He's so much bigger than Optimus. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's funny. Also, strangely enough, there's a couple stickers you need. Weird. Not sure why. Yeah, this is just like all around. This just looks like I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get mine in hand, see how it came out. All right, so I would give you the quick update on Death Source as well. I didn't pull it up, but like Death Source is almost at 9,000 backers, and they are opening up in Japan and South Korea. Those international ones get added in at the end of the campaign, meaning that this guy is already with just under a month to go. He's almost funded as it is, and we haven't even added in another big market for a Japanese character. He's going to get funded. Everything is going to get funded. We're going to get the whole shebang, and we're going to be sitting and waiting in anticipation very impatiently until the end of next winter. Joy. All right, so let's get into some extra toy news. The big news that everyone was talking about all week was the first real toy we've gotten to see out of Rise of the Beasts, and it's Airazor, and this has me so fired up for this toy line. So it's important to note that it is a deluxe class figure, but it does not seem to be a studio series figure. So this might be more along the lines of, say, a Cyberverse deluxe rather than a studio series deluxe. I want you to keep that in mind because it is lacking some things that we come to expect, like ankle tilts, and like the articulation level is not quite as high as a typical figure that a collector would expect. So I don't know if it's budgeted down because that's just how it's going, or if this is part of the movie's main toy line rather than the collector's studio series line. Either way, it is regarded as a deluxe class Airazor, and look at how nice she looks. She is recognizable as the character, but she's not been Michael Bay'd. I can recognize Airazor in her. She looks like the character, but she definitely looks like a modern stylized version and not like way over designed or over detailed. But I think what's really gotten people about her is just how well this toy is engineered. It is genuinely impressive. Look how good the bird looks. Look how good the bird looks. She is so nice. The transformation scheme is actually pretty similar to Energon Dive Bomb, where the legs become the wings, or at least the bulk of the legs become the wings. So that actually is a great way of getting a lot of that bulk out of the way. Does a way better job than Kingdom Airazor. I like Kingdom Airazor as a toy, but I acknowledge like her torso and her robot does not transform much, and she's just like the underside of that bird mode is just not pleasant. But man, this toy is just pulling things off. Like, just pulling off some really cool engineering. Where's some really good shots here? Like, look at how nice this toy looks. This looks so good. But yeah, like, man, I'm so excited. I'm excited for this toy line based solely on Airazor. If the rest of them are like this, oh man, it's going to completely catch me off guard. Like, it just looks so freaking good. I'm really excited to get this toy. All right. Let's see. We got behind the scenes stuff again. I'd say behind the scenes. We got hype material from Sam Smith on his Instagram account. It's one of Hasbro's designers. He's talking about Crasher and Shadowstrip from Velocitron. So a lot of it is talking about just how the deco was picked and exactly why they went with the directions they did with the gold on Shadowstrip, etc. Didn't really mention why the name change. I thought that would have been a much more interesting piece of information. Also, for some reason, he keeps using the word livery in how he describes a redeco. Now, he does use redeco, but then he uses the word livery a lot. So I don't know if it's him I don't know if that's just like his personal word or if it's like using the term transform as part of Transformers, where like that's a no-no because you actually devalue the trademark if you use it casually like that. I don't know if it's like that or if he's just like being fancy with his vocabulary or he broke out of the thesaurus. Either way, this is the kind of update that I was so excited when designers started being able to talk about these toys on their personal accounts because we got some good behind the scenes stuff. Like, I want to see how the cake is made. You know, I want to know why you did what you did. I want to know why you used the brown eggs instead of the white. I want to know why you used the brown sugar instead of the white sugar. I want to know why you used brown flour instead of using white flour. Wow, you sure are using a whole lot of brown ingredients in this cake. I want to know these things. You know? But when talking about this, it's mostly just saying, like, I painted these parts red. I painted these parts gold. Does it look cool? It's fluff material. And, yeah. This is probably the last time I'm really going to mention it outside of, like, unless they drop something really major. Yeah, it's just hype material to get the toys sold. I mean, these went from, like, super informative to just, like, fluff. I know, it's a little bit disappointing. But yeah, I'm just going through it again. Like, it really just doesn't, yeah, it just doesn't really offer anything new, which is unfortunate. I want the good stuff back. I want the good stuff back. So, like, here's Mark Marr on the contrast, where there is behind-the-scenes information here. So, the first thing we were told, so apparently the first thing he was told was that Breakdown had to be a repaint, a redeco of Wild Rider, but because the toy got moved to the first wave of Evolution rather than the tail end of Legacy, he actually got to have one extra tooling in order to update the figure. So that's where we get the spoiler, the new torso, and the new head. I'm sure the head would have been a thing no matter what, but the fact that, like, getting the toy delayed actually managed to improve the toy. Much needed, much needed. And reiterating the thing that I do think is really cool is that even though it is a Legacy toy, it will be coming in, even though it's a Legacy Evolution toy, it will be coming in normal Legacy packaging. So anyone mint in box can keep a consistent set of figures. That's a really good approach. I really like that they did that. I mean, still throwing together, like, things like, yeah, I don't think, you know, a spoiler that pops off and becomes an axe blade is a cool thing. I think that's just you not wanting to engineer the kibble into the toy. But, you know, it's whatever at this point. It's just what we got going. He did mention one is shell over the canopy of the vehicle mode. But they'd already used up all the mold. So he wanted to alter the vehicle mode a little bit more and didn't get the chance. Wild Rider and Breakdown are pretty similar. Carb nuts, don't at me on this one. I know they're very different models of car. But if you can get away with redoing any into each other, that's probably the one. That's all I'm saying. But no, if he turns out to just be Wild Rider again, then yeah, he's going to make a nice back of the leg, and then we will never speak of him again. I don't know why Breakdown always has to be the worst Stunticon. He just is. Let's move on to something that had actual tangible information to it. So, we had a bit of an interview that got posted with Ben McRae and Evan Brooks from Hasbro. So, there's a bunch of stuff. So, it's a half-hour interview, but the bullet points are interesting. So, we do confirm a few things. That Death Source was originally planned for Legacy Evolution, but Haslab Star Saber did so well, they decided to bump it up to being a Haslab itself, so they can make it an appropriate size, as well as including all of his extra accessories. Apparently, Death Source's chest animals were originally planned to be sold as separate core class toys. So there's, again, where the Haslab approach to Death Source actually makes sense. Even if they had done this toy at, like, leader or commander size, you're still going to end up paying an extra $20 for the toy just getting his chest pieces. Or, you know, like, I would say, like, oh, no, it'll be a 2-pack for him, but, you know, I just got Studio Series Rumble, and I had to pay $10 for this little guy. You know, so, yeah, you would have been an extra $20 on this toy anyway, and then you wouldn't have gotten things like his big laser weapon, his throne, you know, his stand, and all the million other things we're getting with him. So I think it was the right approach ultimately, because, you know, if they're only going to get one chance to do Death Source, let's make sure it gets done right. See, and they do acknowledge that the flight stand for Victory Saber was not an exciting thing, so they did the throne instead for a tier. That's cool. Color sample is coming soon. It really needs to happen, like, very, very soon. We're just about to, like, complete the first wave, like the first milestone of this campaign, like, to get people up to that to get people up to those stretch goals, that's probably going to be what does it. Legacy and Studio Series, the limits are off. They now have a lot less rules for what characters they can do. So as we know, they've expanded beyond just being able to do movies. We know there's listings for War for Cybertron toys, and we do know now that they are going to be based on the High Moon games. See, goes finally released characters from the far past that never got an update. That's actually a pretty small list. And, you know, that includes like Omnibots, that includes late G1 characters. You know, I've had whole videos on this. All they need to do is watch me. See. Studio Series didn't have plans to use characters from Age of Extinction The Last Night for a while. Probably A, because of the lack of popularity for those two movies, and B, because those boxes have essentially been checked because The Last Night is basically the line that became Studio Series. Modern Pretender's idea was originally planned by Lenny, and the figures were finished by Evan Brooks. Pretender shells were out of the price point in the main line definitively. I do see a way that Pretenders could have been done. I might have to make a whole video about that, but it's going to require a lot of time to be able to draw out the idea. It would have been like playing a deluxe class price point for a small core with a Pretender shell, so they prefer to make a full character or core character. If fans want Pretender shells, it may still happen. Let Hasbro know you want them in social media channels. They are still open to the idea. So I definitely need to do a video at some point showing how modern Pretender shells need to function. The ideal world would be I'm good enough at 3D modeling to actually present something with a 3D printer. I am not, but you know, that would be the correct way to do it. Either way, I definitely hope that at some point we at least get some modern attempt at a Pretender. It'd be involved, but it could be done. So, we got to look at the, the headline is we got a better look at the Rise of the Beast product standee. And by that, I mean we got a picture from a 2001 GeoCities webpage. But you could at least tell from this picture they're going all out with this thing. We've got t-shirts, we got backpacks, we got hats, we got toys, of course. We got Optimus Primal right at the top. Primal is at the center of the display, even more so than Optimus and Bumblebee off to his sides. I really hope they're pushing Primal, and like Beast Wars is a thing. I would love for this to kick off like a big Beast Wars nostalgia rush. You know, so we could talk about Beast Wars the way we do G1. You know, we could get like, man, I sure am sick of them doing more Dinobot figures. I'm really tired of them doing Waspinators. Can't we get someone obscure from Beast Wars? I kind of wanted to be in that realm of discussion. So not a lot to talk to here. Just like this is going to be like a huge display once we actually get that out in the wild. Didn't mean for that to be a pun, but we'll go with it. They revealed the Megatron Segway we talked about last week. So if you want to feel particularly evil on your scooter, you can do that. You can see it has the vanity plate in the back with a Decepticon logo. It's got like a very fancy box for the instructions. And you've got "Do as I command" written on it. You're driving an electric scooter. You're not commanding anybody. I'm sorry. That's not... There's no way you can look forceful and commanding when you're riding this. I'm sorry. Now, for a scooter, it looks cool. If you really, really want your Megatron branded, scooter, you can have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just, like, let's just admit, like, it is a really silly item to be branded with the leader of the Decepticons. That's all I'm saying. But it's going to be available. It's going to be available. Did we get a price on this? For the low price of $4,000. Oh, but it's not a pre-order. You can have it right now. Oh, well. I know people will get it. Of course people will get it. It's limited number, too. So, it's a collector's item. So, have confidence with that, with your $4,000 scooter, and just hope you don't break it. Brand new posters coming out. Official Transformers the Movie 1986 limited edition poster by Flory. And yeah, it looks awesome. I love how this poster is done because, like, even when it's just a cutaway of the character, I can immediately recognize the scene. I love that. And everything is angled right. There's Blaster and RC, the Battle of Autobot City. We got Springer loading in the shell to attack Devastator. You know, we've got the Junkions in the right direction, Galvatron's in the right direction for the first scene we saw him in. This is an extremely well done poster. I really love how this works. Now, I'll say it again. Isn't it nice to have officially licensed posters where the artists actually drew something themselves instead of copying other people's work? It's a nice thing, isn't it? It's got the old tagline on it too. I really do like how they did this. Yeah, it is another limited poster. There's only 200 units. It's listed in pounds, so I'm going to assume this is a UK company that is offering this up. And as of this writing, yeah, these were already sold at a convention, and these will go online the 15th of November, 6 p.m. UK time. So if you want any of these posters, if any are left over, then that's the way to get it. Would be nice to get one in the US. Oh well. And we're going to finish it up with a little bit of bizarre. I love ending off on the bizarre stuff. So in Malaysia, you can go to your local McDonald's, order a Happy Meal, and you are going to get either a My Little Pony or Transformer branded potato head. Now we're going to ignore the My Little Pony ones, especially because if you take the potato out of them, they look like a Dead Among Us. The Transformer ones are just kind of goofy, funny, and all these really are just kind of goofy, funny. You know, you can tell there's only a couple potatoes in the mix here. You know, molding wise, but everyone's got either hair or a hat and a body, so all this is swappable, interchangeable. If you want to have Megatron with Twilight Sparkle's hair, you can do that. Nothing wrong with that. Plenty of things wrong with that, but nothing worth judging you for. Just you have your fun. So yeah, I wish we got things like this in the US, but McDonald's toys are super cheap over here, so that's probably not happening. But hey, if you're in Malaysia, you got a weird little collectible to go after. And that, my friends, is going to do it for our news for the week. Hope you learned something. Hope you found out something fun. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching and supporting the channel. Like it says on screen right now, I have a affiliation link over at Entertainment Earth. In-stock orders will be 10% off if you use my code, and everything you order does help the channel. I thank you guys very much. And then, of course, there's the easy stuff. Like the video, subscribe to the video, leave a comment. Tell me why, tell me what your favorite use for a potato is. As long as it's PG. Just saying. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.